Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. The former US President Trump, during his 4 years in power, the United States did not have any war behavior, and it was also the most peaceful time in the world. However, after more than 200 years, it has become a hegemon. The United States relies on Trump's behavior naturally cannot get internal support for constantly making war money. Trump also failed to usher in re-election. After the Biden team took charge, the hegemony of the United States has intensified, completely blocking business exchanges with the Chinese market and attracting sneers from all walks of life. The current United States can be described as chaotic. Chaotic action has already made the Biden team overwhelmed. At present, 639 Chinese companies have been added to the entity list, involving all walks of life. If American technology companies want to cooperate with these companies, they must obtain corresponding authorizations. But so far very few have been able to obtain authorizations. The market for American companies' shares and revenues have plummeted, and we can only rely on large-scale layoffs to reduce costs. The domestic economy in the United States continues to slump, and even our own people no longer support chip rules. The disaster is evolving step by step. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen called for resume cooperation with China. The backyard of the Biden team. What kind of chain reaction will this trigger? Chip rules meet boycott. Semiconductor technology can be regarded as invented by Americans. In the 1980s and 1990s, American companies had an absolute advantage in this field and mastered a complete set of industrial processes, but they were gradually destroyed by their own ambition. In order to obtain greater benefits, they chose to outsource the dirty manufacturing industry, leaving behind the simple R&D, design and sales links. After the continuous fermentation of self-developed technology, the dependence of U.S. companies on international manufacturers has become increasingly prominent. Under the guise of reshaping local manufacturing, the Biden team tried to fully recover the lost industrial chain and took out $52 billion subsidies tempt TSMC, Samsung and other companies to build factories without any reputation guidance. And chip rules have gradually evolved into disasters. The speed of development of China's semiconductor industry has posed a considerable threat to U.S. companies. In order to lock the process technology of Chinese companies to 14 nanometers, the Biden team has continuously upgraded the chip rules and forced international forces to participate in the joint venture. Suppress. Under constant pressure, European countries, Japan, South Korea, etc., have compromised one after another. After establishing the Quadruple Alliance for Chips in Asia, they also wooed Japan and the Netherlands to sign a tripartite agreement for the shipment of lithography equipment. TSMC, Samsung and other companies, after the construction of American factories, have also been completely into the box, and after being restricted from cooperating with Chinese companies, they have become manufacturers that specialize in serving American companies. China consumes more than 70% of the world's chips, Korean companies rely on more than 50%, and American companies also break through more than 20%. Huge economic losses have caused more than 20 American companies to rebel, and Seagate has a fine of $100 million continued to ship to Huawei, which broke the deadlock very well, and more companies will definitely follow suit in the future. And China is no longer sitting around. In addition to restricting the export of core technologies and resources, it has also launched a reciprocal countermeasure, launched a comprehensive review of Micron, and blocked the overseas mergers and acquisitions of Intel and other U.S. companies. If the chip rules continue, these U.S. companies will definitely not be the only ones to be sanctioned. In his speech on April 20th, U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen made it clear in his speech, decoupling from the Chinese market is a disaster for trade cooperation. As long as China is willing, it will visit China at the right time. The Biden team is about to fail. Today's China is no longer the China of the 1990s. After Huawei completed the cornering overtaking of 5G technology, Chinese companies have become more and more confident in independent research and development, and they have fully blossomed in many fields. This is also the reason why the restrictions in the United States are gradually becoming invalid. Yellen's leading opposition is bound to get the support of major technology companies, and they will jointly participate in the continued implementation of the boycott of chip rules. The U.S. technology and economy are at the critical point of collapse. Even advanced technology, once the market supply and demand balance is lost, everything fails. After being restricted from shipping to the Chinese market, the chip inventory of U.S. companies is serious, and the price of some chips has plummeted by 90%, but they still cannot be dumped. The market index evaporated nearly $1 trillion overnight. The industry and business have also entered the cold winter. The chain reaction has gradually spread to all walks of life. The Chinese market, as the center of the global supply and demand relationship, remains unchanged, but this supply relationship has changed. In the long run, the dominant position of U.S. companies will no longer exist. What do you think about this? Thank you for your watching this video. Welcome to share your ideas in the video.